Hi there, welcome back to another episode of Transcend the podcast. Today, I'm really excited to talk to you about insurance. I believe that as a business coach and an attorney that you really need to have these three essential types of insurance for your business, and then I'm going to throw in a bonus. So, stay tuned. All right, so the first type of insurance that you need really is liability insurance. Now, we should probably all be familiar with liability insurance because if you drive a car in the United States, you're required to have insurance, and the liability is what happens if your items get stolen from your car. What happens if you run into another car? It protects you. Liability insurance can cover your car, it can cover your property. So, as a business owner, you really want to think about having liability in case something breaks on the premises, in case someone breaks in and takes something, and probably most importantly, in case someone walks into your business or eats your food and has an adverse reaction or they slip and fall. It was really important to have that liability insurance. Now, let me tell you why it's also important to make sure that you talk to your insurance agent and understand really what's covered. Because summer 2020, I had a business owner call me. He was up in Sacramento and he said, "Hey, I got something going on. During these protests in the streets, people broke into my store. I have a tennis shoe shop, and it's customized tennis shoes. No, there are no two pairs that are the same or they're exclusive to try and get. And people walked in and they walked out with my shoes. So I called the insurance company because I have insurance, and they told me that I only had coverage for the windows and the basically for the windows, for the structures to the building, and not for the items that were taken." So, and he was totally upset. He's like, "This is wrong. This is highway robbery. It's not right." So, well, you have to go back and look at the policy that you actually paid for and see what it covered. And of course, understandably so, he thought that he was covering his entire business. And so he was really, really upset with the insurance company, but he hadn't actually paid for the coverage to cover the items. So what he needed was to make sure that he had structural damage. If there was any damage to the property, it would cover. And also the personal property damage or the business property coverage so that when his shoes were taken, he could be reimbursed for that. And according to what he thought, he said he lost about $1 million in revenue that at first he wasn't worried about because he thought he had insurance. And then he was worried because he had insurance, but it wasn't the right insurance. So liability insurance is extremely important for you. Think about all the ways that you are exposing yourself to the public, and then ask your insurance agent to tell you what you need and what it covers. And be upfront. Insurance isn't actually as expensive as we might think that it is. So be upfront with your agent, ask all the questions that you think are silly, and make them explain it to you until you are comfortable and know exactly what you're paying for. Okay, number two, workers' insurance. Now, this covers a few different types of insurance, but the category is workers' insurance. So, workers' insurance, the first thing you're probably thinking of is workers' compensation. If you have employees, you are required by law to have workers' compensation. If you're not sure if you have employees, then definitely check out my website and take my class called Before You Hire so you understand the difference between employees and contractors. Contractors carry their own insurance. Employees, they are covered by your business insurance. And the other thing that you might want to consider if you have employees is employee disability insurance. And you might want to consider this just for you, even if you don't think that you can cover it for your workers yet, but especially for you, especially if you are the sole worker in your business and something happens. Let's say maybe you're thinking about having children, maybe you get into a car accident, maybe a health issue comes up and you need to take some time off. What's going to cover that for you if you're no longer able to actually work in the business and produce income is disability insurance. So take a look, ask those questions, figure out how to get started, and run the numbers to see how much it's actually going to cost you per month to set that up for yourself. Don't just count it out now because you think, "Oh my gosh, it's another bill and I'm not going to get sick." You never know, right? COVID hit, we never know. So think about that. Another thing in terms of workers' insurance, another subcategory under that is this key person insurance. If you are in business with somebody else, or you have somebody who is a big money maker in your business, they're like a vice president, a CEO, or an owner, you can take out what's called key person insurance. That's almost like a business life insurance policy in a sense. It covers the income that that person was making if they're no longer able to make it. And usually that's because they've died or become incapacitated. So what that does is it allows the business to stay afloat. It may also allow the remaining business owners to buy the deceased partner's interest in the company. It just gives you some money to be able to continue to run the business and figure out what to do with the business without panicking, because now this person who's no longer there is no longer able to produce income. So under workers insurance, you have workers compensation, you have disability to think about, and then you have key person insurance to think about. And the last category of insurance, so property insurance. Let me talk to you about property insurance. This will be the third one. Sorry for going out of order, y'all. So commercial property insurance is generally required if you are renting a commercial lease. So this is kind of like your homeowner's insurance or your renter's insurance. It'll cover the physical assets. That's what it wasn't a climb. That's what the man who called for the consultation should have had, was commercial insurance. It covered the building assets and equipment, inventory, tools, furniture, things like that, right? If you are running your business out of your home, then you want to make sure that you have homeowners or renters insurance, and tell your homeowners or renters agent that you are running your business out of your home so that you can have your business assets covered. So for example, I have a home office, I have a physical address, and I have a home office. Under my renter's insurance, I say I've got my computers, I'm looking around my printer, I got 2 printers, I got office supplies, I got some chairs, things like that, that if there was a fire or if there was damage to my house, or if I was robbed, then my homeowners or renters insurance would cover the business items that are in my house. Now, if I had an office space outside, then I would have that commercial insurance, but you want to make sure, again, you have liability, like I talked about first, and then the property damage insurance as well. And then auto insurance. Talks about that just briefly, but you want to make sure that if anybody in your business is driving around for you, you need to call your insurance carrier and ask whether or not your business needs to have an insurance policy to cover your employees that are driving around, or if you need to require them to show proof of insurance for you. So if you have people going to multiple sites, if you have people making deliveries, even if they're using their own vehicles and they get into an accident, if they're working for you while they're doing it, then there's a possibility that you could be responsible for any accident or harm that occurs when they're on the clock for you. So again, make sure that you have auto insurance. And also, if I remember correctly from this lesson, I should have learned, for auto insurance, it covers the damage to the car in collision, but I do not think it covers the property items in the car. If I remember correctly, that's your homeowners or renters insurance that will cover the items inside the car, or maybe your business insurance if you have deliverables inside the car. So take a look at that. Now, your bonus type of insurance, I said I was going to tell you 3, and it was liability, workers insurance, and property insurance. The bonus one is thinking about disaster insurance. So that could it could be business interruption insurance. That's a type of insurance that could cover flood, theft, building collapse, or city authority incident, meaning if the city says that this building has to shut down or whatever, when, businesses were shut down for COVID. That's something that will probably only be used, every so often. But if you're in a fire zone, then maybe you have to evacuate your business every year. And so you have disaster insurance that'll cover you for that. And then the other type of disaster insurance that you could consider is comprehensive crime insurance. If you are in a area where there's high crime, or if you are in an area in a business that is dealing with money, you might want to think about having high crime or comprehensive crime insurance to protect your business from financial loss due to criminal activity. Okay, so great, Asha. You told us 4 types of insurance: liability, workers, property, and now disaster. How do I go find this stuff? Who do I talk to? My recommendation is always to start with your current insurance agent, even if it's just an auto insurance policy, right? I did that for my business and said, hey, do you have business insurance because I'm starting a business? And if Geico couldn't do it directly, then they have partners that they work with. And the cool thing about using an agent that you already have, or a plan, branching off from a plan that you already have, is that you will probably save money for having multiple policies under the same company. But if you don't know where to go, just send me a message. You can DM me on Instagram, Asha what is my IG? Asha Wilkerson ESQ, and I will send you my referral list where I have insurance agents and financial folks that you can reach out and talk to get your needs met. All right. Hope that was useful. Hey, like and share this podcast, please. Let people know that it's a place where they can come and get information for the business, and I will be forever grateful. Ciao.